Hello, I'm Jay Plyburn. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll introduce you to West Michiganders who we've had a chance to help over the last several months with our 13 Help Team. The 13 Help Team is dedicated to getting results for people who need them right here in our communities. In less than a year, the 13 Help Team has already recovered more than $100,000 for people right here in West Michigan. Let's take you back to the beginning when the 13 Help Team received a call from a retired couple in Sparta. Imagine paying $4,000 for a new sliding patio door and 1 year later still not having the door you paid for or a refund. That's exactly what happened to John and Carol Gee. And before they reached out to the 13 Help Team, they said they were getting the runaround for months and they were tired of it. The couple ordered the new slider door from Lowe's back on December 13th, 2021. It arrived 6 months later, broken, was sent back, and a few months later, another door was delivered, but it wasn't the one they ordered.
We're not troublemakers. We're not trying to make trouble. We just want to be treated fair. And I think fairness is giving our money back because they promised to give the money back. Yeah. It's not happening.
The Gees patiently reached out to Lowe's over and over again, trying to figure out if their door would ever arrive or if they could just get their money back. But each time they spoke to someone, they never seemed to get an answer they were satisfied with.
I bet I made probably 20, 30 calls, constantly, every 2 or 3 days or every week. And anytime I call, I'm on that phone anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour talking to them. And nobody can get nothing straight.
We're on a fixed income. We're both retired. We don't have money to throw away, especially $4,000. We're in our 70s and, we have health problems like anyone in their 70s. So, it's added stress to the life.
After we got involved and called Lowe's, the couple said they were told the refund was on the way, but they said they'd been told that before, several times in fact. At this point, it had been over a year since the Gees first ordered their sliding door from Lowe's. The frustrated couple had turned to the 13 Help Team after a relative suggested they reach out to us for help. The Gees did not want to get media involved, but they said they'd run out of options. When we got the call, we were happy to help, and after a short time, the 13 Help Team was able to get the resolution they were hoping for.
If it wasn't for TV 13, I probably won't be holding this money in my hand.
13 on Your Side was there as John and Carol Gee cashed their $4,000 refund check from Lowe's. It comes a week after the Gees called the Help Team about what they call ongoing issues with the home improvement retailer.
Thank you very much.
For months, they'd been trying to get their money back from Lowe's, but kept coming up short.
Then they get a hold of the manager, and the manager will talk to them, then they got to talk to me. I said, let me talk to the manager. Nope, can't do that. It's been going on like that for probably 3 to 4 months.
A cousin recommended us to get in touch with TV 13. We hesitated. We said, we don't want to go this far. We don't have to go this far.
They said Lowe's customer service reps told them on multiple occasions the check was on its way. And each time, John and Carol stayed home waiting for the check, but it never came.
We didn't know what else to do, but we wanted an end of this because it's a strain and it's a stress day in and day out, getting these calls or calling and getting lies and, like I said, and deceived that your check is in the mail. We only had one person say, you know what, there was never a check issued. And that was so disappointing. The 13 on Your Side Help Team got involved, calling and emailing Lowe's corporate. It only took a few hours for the company to say they were sending a check, and after more than a week, the money they'd been waiting months for finally arrived. Thank you very, very much. Like I said before, I highly doubt we'd ever seen this check without your help. Yep. A Muskegon Heights homeowner stunned after receiving a $27,000 property tax bill. Turning to the 13 Help Team, we were there to track down the reason for the massive bill and see if we could find a resolution.
I was shocked. I didn't know. I couldn't believe it.
Fred Lakes is seeing dollar signs over an unwelcome piece of mail, a tax bill with thousands of dollars in extra fees. He's lived in this house on 6th much of his life, yet the current issue stems from the 2-story next door. Circa 20 years ago, the West Side property had carved out a troubling reputation as a known drug house and chronic neighborhood problem spot. Fred says the house was condemned when he made the decision to buy it.
We try to do our best in taking care of the property and keeping it so that it's not an eyesore, or improve the neighborhood. And
patching on the roof there and on the top.
So he's been putting in his own sweat equity since the sale, fixing it up to improve the neighborhood. efforts not everyone has apparently recognized.
Usually would say that there's no delinquency due.
In 2020, Fred got this notice on Muskegon Heights letterhead assessing a vacant building fee that meant a $500 charge.
Eventually that got dropped. I thought all was well and go back to working on the house and so on and so forth. But come the following year, things started happening again.
The same frustration came back with a vengeance when his city tax forms came in the mail last summer. Previous forms show Fred usually owes between $270 and $600, yet the bill he got
Ended up with a past due billing of $3,500, and so I had to go through this again.
later getting the charge reversed like the last one, or so he thought, until the mother of all tax bills showed up in his mailbox. Note the number, $27,546.41.
What's your first reaction when you get that in your hands and you tear open the letter and it's $27,000?
Well, you look at it for a long time to make sure that my eyes aren't deceiving me. I wanted to protest because I figured from what I was reading in the ordinance, it did not qualify as vacant.
It lays out the criteria used to classify a home as vacant when no one actively lives or conducts business inside. The rules also require evidence like proof of continual utility use and annual registration.
I don't know what it is.
A definition Fred believes should not have been applied here, adding the property's better by a long shot than when he took over.
It makes me a little skeptical, you know. I don't want to think that I'm being picked on.
The notice he received also claims an inspector examined the property before the bill was printed. Fred says he was never contacted. And with the due date printed at the top of his tax bill coming in under a week, Fred says he's tried to sort things out with City Hall without much to show for it.
Can you pay the city $27,000 for this property behind you?
No, I'm retired. I can't. I had a fixed income. It would take me years to even accumulate that much money now, let alone pay it out as a bill. I just hope the outcome is positive.
After we spoke to Mr. Lakes, we also heard from others in Muskegon Heights who had similar high tax bills. The 13 Help team brought these complaints to the city, and after less than a month, we saw results.
I'm feeling pretty excited and relieved. Now I appreciate you guys and all the hard work you've been doing. I don't have any ill will or ill feelings towards the city. I'm glad we were able to bring it to light, though, get a handle on how it happened and get that cleared up.
Mr. Lakes thanking us for keeping the pressure on the city and getting it addressed as the deadline to pay got closer. It turned out the extra fines and fees were a combination of backwater bills and a special assessment on vacant buildings, which hasn't actually been used in years. The City Council ended up voting to reverse the fees assessed for 2021, which allowed the county treasurer to walk the fees back for several residents, including Mr. Lakes' $27,000 bill. A West Michigan homeowner out $1,000 from a well-known window installer. The 13 Help team was there to try and get back the deposit after that installer went out of business.
We got to raise our prices.
But this I cannot do.
You certainly couldn't miss the advertisements.
You never mess with the family.
The commercials were creative, homespun, and promised deals that seemed just too good to be true. Jack Tilka was usually the star.
You're really going to see a big difference.
A good price and all these advertisements, even on TV. That's when I says, well, I'll get these 2 windows done, because I was happy with that one in there. And then here we are.
Maria Long had already brought in Jack's wholesale windows for a replacement in her kitchen.
And I was really happy with their work.
Later finding this coupon advertising a 2-for-1 deal on a new set of windows.
I decided to get the living room windows done. And the man came out and he took my information down.
She says an installer took measurements and left with her deposit.
We signed a contract September 7th, 2021. So I waited and waited and waited again and stuff, and nothing.
In June of the following year, she says she got a phone call from someone claiming to work for Jack's Windows. They told her the company was closing and that she would be getting her deposit back. 8 months later, she's still waiting and still has no deposit.
The phone just rings and rings and rings and rings and nobody answers. And so I'm to the point where I have no windows and no down payment, refunded back.
Don't do it yourself. The Better Business Bureau, meanwhile, tells a story the ads left out. Nothing but lies and irresponsibility. I'm asking for a full refund. And the familiar, no answer. I'm looking at getting an attorney involved. Do you still have plans to replace these windows? What's the situation there?
Yeah,
you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer
yeah,
now.
you got to save the money to get it done.
$1,000, you got to feel like they owe you at least an explanation, right?
Yeah, something.
Now, we weren't actually able to get Maria's $1,000 deposit back, but just 2 weeks after the original story aired, we got her a resolution that she was more than happy about.
How goes it, Maria?
Good.
We circled back to Maria's house for what I told her was just a routine follow-up.
I think it was so brave that you came out and you did what you did. You shared your story.
Never guessing we'd been keeping a secret.
Hello, my name is Terry Sullivan. I'm here with Home Pro West Michigan.
The folks at Home Pro had seen Maria's story and contacted 13 on Your Side to find out how they could help out. We'd been quietly working together behind the scenes since to put together a surprise.
What I can do is I can provide the labor, the material, and the permitting to get the project completed at no cost to you.
Oh, thank you.
It would be our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
2 brand new replacement windows free of charge.
And then I saw you on TV and advertising, you know, how you can help people and stuff like that. And I was talking to my son and he says, well, go ahead and call him, you know, and see what he can do for you.
Not as scary as maybe you imagined it being?
I was nervous to meet you. I was pretty nervous. And then when you got here, you just made me feel comfortable.
How does that feel to have the relief you've waited so long for?
I feel thankful and grateful. Very grateful. Oh my goodness. I didn't expect this. I didn't.
Now, did you have any suspicion we were coming here today with some like ulterior motives?
No, I just saw all these guys coming out of the vehicle and I thought, you know, why is everybody here? I thought you were just coming over. Yes.
Well, I'm glad we kept it a surprise.
Yes. And I thank you for coming out and listening to me and making all this possible.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Enjoy the new windows, okay?
Oh, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
If you have an issue you can't seem to work through, get the 13 Help Team on your side by dialing the number on your TV or check out the Help tab on our website and submit your questions there. One court ruling affecting tax benefits for thousands of spouses of veterans in Michigan. The 13 Help Team aiding in getting new legislation passed at the Capitol to get those benefits restored. That's next. Welcome back to a 13 Help Team special. This next story involved nearly a year of work behind the scenes advocating for spouses of veterans in Michigan. But after 10 months, they finally got the resolution they were looking for. Michigan veterans who fought for freedom and served our country, their widowed spouses denied state property tax exemptions. Lieutenant Richard Johnston and Army veteran Donald Graham, both exposed to the chemical known as Agent Orange in Vietnam. Their spouses, Sue and Bonnie, denied tax benefits that they received for years, all because a court ruling in the Upper Peninsula set a precedent when they denied Sue Lockhart the benefits earned by her husband, John.
Board of Review denied me because my husband did not live with me. It's been a fight. It now has affected thousands of widows and widowers.
Now we're still having to fight for things that have been given and now taken away.
In that case, the court ruled in cases where a disabled veteran did not own the property, his or her surviving spouse is also not eligible for the exemption. The ruling, used as precedents to deny thousands of other veteran spouses their benefits, went against guidance from the State Tax Commission. Veteran and advocate Richard Overton says the ruling goes against the spirit of the law.
The idea was that someone who had been completely disabled, 100% permanent, by their service with the United States military, these other states had a provision that they not pay property tax. It couldn't be simpler, and yet we're getting all kinds of interpretations about generally trying to tie the veteran not being tied to the property.
The 13 Help team worked for months alongside the spouses and veteran advocates to bring light to the situation. In June, hope in the form of 3 bills in the Senate which would fix the exemption loophole, restoring those benefits to veteran spouses.
They have served our country. The fact that they're 100% disabled is a testament to their service, and their families, particularly their spouses, should not have to suffer. And especially, when they lose that spouse, they should keep that property tax exemption. And so we're going to hope that we can get this through the committee and right this wrong.
The legislation would take another 4 months to finally pass and be signed into law. The 13 Help team spoke with Bonnie Graham after that day in October.
Senate Bill 176 modifies the language of the original exemption law, explicitly extending the tax benefit to surviving military spouses, whether or not the disabled veteran ever shared the property or personally applied to receive the benefit. The other 2 bills relax the yearly application requirement and make the benefits retroactive, giving the folks denied what they earned this year the chance to recoup the money they may have already paid.
It was a shock to me.
That's Bonnie Graham, who you met back in August. Her late husband, Army vet Donald Graham, came in contact with a then little-known chemical while on deployment in Vietnam. Decades later, Agent Orange would ensure Donald spent his golden years on dialysis, needing full-time care.
It's not easy for any of us.
A few years after Donald's passing, Bonnie packed up the home they shared and moved, downsizing to something more manageable.
At my age, it makes sense to do those things. And the law was supposed to allow that.
The couple had applied for and received the state tax waiver for around 10 years or so. And just as it did in years past, in March, a letter from her assessor showed up in Bonnie's mailbox.
I almost didn't open the envelope they mailed to me because I thought it was just a confirmation of the waiver. The bill was over $5,000.
Spelling relief, the package restoring the benefit, was adopted by the state legislature in early October with broad bipartisan backing. Thanks to a majority vote in both chambers, the laws will take effect right away.
We all prayed about this.
And for the sake of good people like Bonnie, the relief couldn't have come soon enough.
I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for all of us because you have been in our corner. You have supported us. We so appreciate you. Thank you so much, and Channel 13 as well.
We were able to help recoup $20,000 in denied tax benefits for Bonnie. The 13 Help team was honored to work alongside veteran advocates to help get this issue resolved for thousands around the state. If you have an issue you can't seem to work through, get the 13 Help team on your side by dialing the number on your TV or check out the Help tab on our website and submit your questions there. A problem with a viewer's energy bill took the 13 Help team down a path that led to an investigation by the state. We'll tell you how an outrageously high bill from Consumers Energy ended with an open investigation into the utility company. Welcome back to a 13 Help Team special. I'm Jay Plyburn. Your utility bills are more than 5 times what you paid last month, and that's not in your budget. That's what prompted Lula Johnston to contact us back in January.
Well, it's been a frustrating few months for Lula here, and it's all the numbers on this paperwork. Her utility bill is skyrocketing. She's on a fixed income. She can't afford it, and so she turned to us hoping we could find a solution.
Something's got to give.
Lula Johnston.
I feel like I'm being penalized or punished or something.
And her 12-year-old Shih Tzu, Molly Jean, are seeing dollar signs.
Here I sit and all of a sudden I'm getting these high bills and it's like, wow.
Because the price tag on Lula's monthly electric bills wasn't even close to that amount even 6 months earlier. Her statements show the payment for June totaled around $58.64. By October, it had surged to 6 times more expensive.
After they had changed the smart meter, they're estimating it $351 and a penny.
Thinking the meter might be the issue. After all, the size of Lula's home in Holton is modest.
I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do anymore.
So she called up her electric utility to get to the bottom of it. Consumers Energy told her it may be an issue with the meter, but that they were running short on replacements. The company offered her a budget plan at a fixed rate of just over $200 a month.
I'm on disability. There's no way.
13 on Your Side called and emailed representatives for Consumers Energy. I was told policy prevented them from discussing individual accounts, but that the company would look into it. Only a day later, Consumers had made it right. That's the brand new meter Lula was promised.
I think I'd still be waiting if I hadn't got a hold of you folks, and it's so much appreciated.
And while we were able to erase $900 from her bill, we quickly learned that this wasn't an isolated incident.
This month's bill is $149.
Okay.
So how did I get $747?
It's not making a lot of sense.
Our consumer's bill is up and down constantly. I know I'm getting overcharged for it.
And it went on for so many months. Why didn't I get a heads up?
For August 3rd is $1,662.31.
Hearing from just a few of the dozens of people who reached out to the 13 Help Team because of those high bills from Consumers Energy. The cause? Outdated 3G meters that weren't giving accurate readings, combined with inaccurate estimates due to a lack of meter reading staff. Consumers Energy saying it should share the blame with one of their suppliers for not meeting a deadline. Our reporting, in addition to hundreds of complaints, prompted an investigation by the Michigan Public Service Utility Commission.
The problem is with consumers, it's not like you can say, I'm not happy with your service, I'm going somewhere else. This whole situation, Consumers is not losing any customers. We have no place to go.
The Michigan Public Service Utility Commission has since ordered Consumers Energy to explain why meter installation delays and months of estimates shouldn't violate state utility rules. In total, we've helped get around $20,000 in bills returned to the viewers who requested the 13 Help Team's assistance, and likely much more for customers who wouldn't otherwise have even known about the issue. Since we launched the 13 Help Team in January, we've recovered more than $125,000 for West Michiganders, helping people get their hard-earned money back from contractors, utility companies, and even the government. The 13 Help Team is dedicated to getting results for people who need them right here in our communities. If you have an issue you can't seem to work through, get the 13 Help Team on your side by dialing the number on your TV or check out the Help tab on our website and submit your questions there.